Well, Melanie is here, and Cindy, I'm not going to announce it in a minute. Is there anybody else that I missed? Do we have any guests that are not precinct chairs that are here missing? And Coach is here, I see him, he's trying to We're going to start off with a word of prayer, and Gary's going to lead us in prayer, and then Jimmy's going to lead us in the pledge. If you'll please stand.
Thank you so much, Lord, for having the opportunity and liberty to get together in this fashion. We ask that you cover this meeting in your grace, that you give wisdom to the speakers tonight, that you take the hearts of everyone here. What their obligations are. Lord, we ask a special prayer for our state as our session. We pray for our elected officials, that they will seek your guidance in the times that they are making decisions that will affect each of our lives, Lord. You will instill within them the need to seek you out before they cast their vote. And we ask a special prayer tonight, Lord, for our national leaders, that you will convince them, convict them, do whatever's necessary, that they turn to you before they make decisions going forward as regards to the security of this nation and issues that will affect our every life. Most of all, Lord, we thank you for Jesus Christ, his death on the cross, and our salvation resulting from it. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
All right, leave your caps on, man. This is the pledges. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good.
And did everyone get the minutes from last month? Was there any corrections? Do you have a second to approve those minutes?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tom, you want to go ahead and do this?
I'll make it available, I'll put it on the back of it. But as far as the month of February, we were able and then we also start small things we get out for online. I am going to make a deposit tomorrow of $1,800.
$1,000. Hey, close.
The anticipated expenses this month will just be the rent, $750. I just gave back the check mail, and we'll have $100 for the phone, and then we've got to buy some more ink for the printer, which will be about $60. So those are the only anticipated expenses. So we'll post one of these balancing and statement. They'll be added to the months, and then we'll be so that concludes my report.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now it is my great honor, even though I didn't really forget them, to welcome Cindy Polly and Melanie Reed, who are district clerk and our county clerk.
Who's got the best, or the
Come on, that one that you
easiest?
sit down while the other one talks.
Okay, who's gonna sit first?
Don't want to flip?
Sure.
Rock, paper,
Rock, paper, scissors.
Sit down.
Well, I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to come out and visit with you tonight. I don't have anything prepared, so I'm just gonna kind of speak off the cuff, but, I don't know how many of you know what the county clerk does. That may not be what you want to hear about tonight. But what do we not do? It's kind of the hub of the wheel, you know, and all these different spokes go different directions because the county clerk's office is so diverse. We record your brands and your birth and your marriage and your death. We birth them, brand them, marry them, and bury them. Record the significant times of your life. So, you know, we do all of those things, and then we record, I did say record these, then we record all the liens you have against your neighbor. So, you know, you never know what we're gonna do, but we file the releases too, you know, we'll file those. If you file them on time. They have to be filed on time though. But anyway, we have the responsibility of the criminal misdemeanors in Ellis County. We also have the responsibility of civil cases, $100,000 and below. Our judges we do have concurrent jurisdiction with the district courts, but they've never, I think it's been a local rule, isn't it, Mel? By local rule, the district judges hear all of anything above 100,000. We have probate, so, anytime there's a probate or guardianship, those are, and mental health, those are all held in our office. The district attorney does the basic, most everything on the mental health, and we really just keep files on those, and those are private anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can't come in and look at them. So I know y'all just love that. But you wouldn't want everybody to see everybody either, would you? You don't want to know all those. We don't want to know all those secrets. But anyway, we also, did I cover everything that we do? Of course not. I said probate. Yes.
Can you just file documents for record?
Yes, you can. Your deeds of trust, liens, any of that. Actually, I've been told, we've been instructed many times that we can file a grocery list as long as it's got a proper heading and is notarized by a proper notary of the state of Texas. But we hadn't had to file one of those yet. Yes, ma'am.
Can you file a veterans DD 214?
Yes, we do file veterans
Very
DD
important.
214.
Yeah.
And we make copies of all those many times for people. Yes.
Did I hear a solicitation for strange stocking?
Not really. Not really, because some of them are just so strange we can't figure out if we're supposed to file them or not. So, but we get some pretty strange documents, and some of them are not legitimate documents. You know, if it's not something actually that in the code says that we're not to file, we're really not to file it. So it's kind of a joke when I say a grocery list. Although I guess if it were properly put together, it could be filed. You know, I don't know why you'd want to, but some people might. But anyway, I was thinking of something else that I needed to tell y'all. Genealogy. Our records go back to the 1845s in our deed records, and our births go back way back when. All of those old records in the 1800s are usually, well, I guess probably all of those are delayed records. I don't know how, we probably do have some originals, but most of them are delayed records because when people came through and they had a birth, when they came through and they got married, they'd come through in a covered wagon, they'd get married, they'd go on to their next destination, and they would never get everything filed. Or it was a home birth, and it never was filed. So you have, you know, you come Social Security time and you need a birth certificate, so you have to have one made. Yeah, you have to do all that, which brings me to what I was thinking of a while ago. We also have school records. All the school records, when the common schools all closed down, then the school records went to, where did they go? I guess I guess any of them all went to the judge's office, but they were supposed to go to the clerk's office. So, we have those now. And when another thing, and this might be of interest to a lot of you, when the county surveyor's office was abolished, those old survey records came to us. And they are really neat if you can figure out how to read them. Now, they're just off the wall to me. But I'm sure they're really interesting though. They're fun to look at. You know, I don't know what world I'm looking at, but they are interesting. And we've had those redone. I've had those completely refurbished. Those are something that I didn't want to just scan for posterity. I wanted to keep those the way they were. They are all have been digitized, but they are the books. The actual book is there with all the fancy scroll work and all that. And that's one of the neat things too about our old books. When you come in and you want to look at those deed records, you want to look at those, the first marriage license that we have. Anything that's one of the first, you know, those first 1800 records, the writing is so beautiful. And you think, what an art that we're losing. We've all forgotten how to write. Our children are now not being taught how to write in school. There's no cursive anymore. And I know that doesn't bother some people. It bothers me. I want my grandchildren to be able to write their name. But that's an important thing for me. But I see all this writing all the time. And we have to look at records and see that they're signed and that it's something that we can read, and that somebody in 100 years or 200 years will be able to read. I mean, our documents are really old and they're really precious. Some of them are in really bad condition. The next big project we have going, which should start in the next month, or probably within the next 2 months anyway, 3, whatever. I don't want to hold myself to anything. Sometime this year, all of the birth and death records will be scanned and in a safe place and stored on they're all going to be digitized. All of them are scanned, and we probably will film those also in the same process.
You archive that so that they're not all in one place, so you have a backup
Yes, we do.
in case.
Yes. We have a box at the Comerica Bank, but our main storage facility is at Texas Archives in Dallas. We also have documents stored in Houston, and I'm not sure where they are. I can't remember the name of the place that where they're stored, but they are there. I guess I could find it out real quick. Those are not real quick, but I could find it out. If it's of interest to anyone, but yes, they are stored in different areas. Another thing, we always welcome anyone to come in and look at the records. If you ever don't feel welcome, I would like to know. I think my staff is I've got a really great staff. They're the ones that do the work. I'm there to say, okay, if they have a question or no, and to do research and anymore. I don't get out in the office very often. There was a time when I was out there quite a bit, and sometimes I'm out there now, and that's the part I love. I love to be able to be out there, but if I'm out there, usually there's something else that's not being done that should be done. And because the administrative end of this has gotten so big that it's just getting really too big. As far as I'm concerned, we're just getting too big. But I was born here, so I would rather it be a little small. Yes.
Do you have any old photographs? Do you guys archive any of that stuff?
No, I don't think we do. I don't think so. Not that I remember. I'll tell you something I've got that some of you might like to see, though, when you say something old that's very interesting, and I wish we did have photographs. We have one of the old slave records that is so sad, just so, I don't know, it's just kind of it's unbelievable. There are lots of slave records. We have a book, actually. There was a lady and her daughter. And I have no idea how old these women were, because when they came through, of course, I was younger then, but they seemed quite a bit older to me. But they went from city to city, town to town, through the state of Texas and elsewhere, going through deed records and pulling all the slave records. And they have volumes of slave records. I would love to have the whole set. I do have the volume that has the slave records of Ellis County. And they're again, those are kind of hard to read. You've got to know kind of how to read them. And in all honesty, I haven't had, in all these years, it's been hard to even sit down and try to figure them out, because something else always comes that's got to be done right now. And then something else comes that's got to be done right now. I don't know which priority is priority. So, and I know Melanie experiences that same thing. It's just, you don't know. You run out of time, and all of a sudden you realize 24 years has gone by, and I haven't got everything I wanted to do in the first 4 years. You know, it's like you say, and people can stand up and they can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they ain't going to do it all. There's no way. And there's no way they're going to do it in 4 years, for sure. And I can attest to that, because I tried my hardest. But those first years, especially after the first 8, I was like, you know, I can't do all this, and I started trying to do a big project every year, every 2 years, as money would allow. Yes.
What is the, you said there were a whole bunch of administrative things that kept you from working.
No, they don't keep me from working.
Doing some of the things you like. So my question is, what is the biggest consumer of your time?
Probably research. Researching records, working on public requests for records, open records requests. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of my time. Open records requests probably take the biggest part of it. And by the time you track things down, and there's a lot of legislation too. I mean, I don't know how much legislation y'all have read, probably a lot. y'all have probably read more than I have, but on any given day, we're in the middle of those books trying to figure it out. And I'm not a lawyer. And we've got so many lawyers writing up all these bills that, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it makes it hard. They need to speak a little bit where country folk can understand it, you know. It's a little intimidating. But anyway, it's hard to figure out sometimes.
You know anything about the bullet train that's coming through?
Not much. I haven't really heard that much about it. I haven't done any research on that. I haven't had time for bullet train.
Okay.
But I mean, I've heard of it.
All right.
I know that it can be a real problem. I know that it's splitting up a lot of property and it causes, and I come from a farm family and I know how hard that can be because you gotta go miles around to find a place to go across to get to your other patch. You're gonna have to sell one.
Think of all the paperwork, eminent domain you're gonna have to do.
They're what?
All the eminent domain paperwork you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, really. You get most of those. So, yeah, I'm gonna pass the buck right now unless y'all have questions. Yes, and I'm talking very loud. I feel like.
No, you're not, that's good.
I've been talking to my mother. And it's getting worse.
25 years ago, there was a bunch of marriage licenses that, you know, I think y'all announced it or something. Do you still have some?
We've got them all. There's an old cabinet, as you walk in the office straight ahead, there's an old cabinet that was in the original courthouse. And it was with the clerk's office for years. Well, when we started taking things out of the courthouse to build the first new courthouse, or actually, yeah, it was. We were getting ready to do that. We moved some of them out to the Walmart building when all that big move was done. Well, there was this big cabinet that had been in the clerk's office all these years, and it had a place for the clerk, and then a big box that the clerk had, and then 5 boxes, one for the county judge. There was a little door, and boxes for the commissioners. Well, I said, they were walking out with that thing and put a big old dent in it, and I said, what are you fixing to do? Well, we're going to throw it out. And I'm like, oh no, you're not. And so that went with me, and the engineer worked with me really on the first building. They said they made a place for it, and in this building it's got a very prominent place in my office, and it's beautiful, and that's where the marriage licenses are stored. And that's all those old ones, and some of them are in pretty rough shape. And that's another reason why that's the very next project, is all the vinyl records. We're gonna do all those this year.
Well, I know at that time that I'm talking about, I went and got my mother and daddy's, and they were married in 1930. And I would like to go through this, somebody else's.
Okay. Well, you know, there's different schools of thought about the old marriage license. Some of the clerks won't let them go because somebody comes in and they want grandfather's marriage license, and you ask some questions, you make them fill out an application, or I do, and okay, you give it to that person, and then somebody comes in and says, well, I wanted it. Why did you give it to them? And you say, well, I've got a copy here, but I wanted the original. Well, you know, and so somebody a long, long time ago in some remote place got sued. One of the clerks did. So now it's, you know, you shouldn't give those out. To my thinking is it belongs to the family. if there's somebody in the family, and if I'm wrong, y'all tell me, I wanna know. But if I'm thinking about it wrong, but I think that if Jimmy Simmons wants his grandmother's and grandfather's marriage license, he ought to be able to pick it up. Now, we will document it, we'll we'll have him file an application with us. We'll take his all of his ID, just like we do any other. And we'll ask the relationship. We don't track it down. There's no time to do all that. But when somebody comes in and they've got a marriage license that was there, or, you know, that was part of their family, they should have it, in my opinion. And I have my grandmother's. It was never picked up. Anything that was never picked up or was sent back in the mail, we've got it. We've got a lot of deeds that were, if anybody's missing a deed, tell us so we can get rid of some of this stuff. But we've got a lot of deeds that were sent back to, because they went to the wrong address or something, they didn't have the correct address, and we've got drawers and drawers full of them, and most of them are probably different owners now. But, yes.
Cindy, thousands and thousands of men and women from Ellis County have fought in all our wars. I know it goes all the way back to the Civil War anyway. I know we have a lot of Civil War people buried in the cemeteries around Ellis County. Do we have any separate records on any of those, or is that just mixed in with everything else?
We don't, to my knowledge, there's not any, and I've been there for quite a while. I don't think we do.
Okay.
I'm sure we don't. Now, one thing that I've acquired in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so is all of the cemetery records that are available that I know of. I don't remember, I think there's 12 volumes that were put together by the Historical Society, and probably with the help of the Genealogy Society. I don't know who all worked to put these records together, but they're really good. They're really great records, and if you've got someone that you think was born in the Crisp Cemetery, you can go to that and find that person. I mean, it's really neat. So, who? Peggy. Oh, yes, she sure can. She sure can. She knows about those. Anything else before I let Melanie talk for longer than she's supposed to? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I get kind of wound up. This is kind of a passion. When you like this, when this becomes your life, pretty much. I mean, I'm all grown up now. My kids are all grown up now, and I started when they were in high school, and they're grown. They've got families of their own, and I mean, this is a passion, and it's somewhat of a ministry. You have to care about it. I mean, something you've got to have a passion for, I think, to want to continue it, because you just get too much abuse to do something. That's a joke. It's flawed.
Cindy, aren't you our longest 10-year elected official?
Curtis Pohl.
Oh, yeah, Curtis. I forgot.
My first vision of Curtis Pohl was on when the day we were sworn in, my first time to be sworn in, and he came in a purple suit, tails, and purple shoes. And I had never seen anything like that in my life. But Curtis is a neat guy, and he's got a lot of, he's a neat guy to visit with. Y'all ought to visit with him sometime.
Got a lot of flair, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got a lot of flair. I think the next time it was like a chartreuse. Is chartreuse that bright green?
Yeah.
It was chartreuse. And I mean the shoes, everything. So, but it was pretty cool. I've teased him about that. But anything else? I don't want to miss anything. All right. Thank you. It's good to see everybody. Thanks for having me. No, you don't. Yeah, really. Yeah. Don't, Melanie. They'll hate us both. She can't come along. on before her, because I know she's more entertaining than I am. I don't have the little 4 fun facts of my office. So people that come to my office, they're not happy usually, because it's divorces or it's criminal felony cases. You know, it's not happy situations when they come to my office. So, you know, they've lost their homes, they're behind on their taxes, they're being sued because of that, and they're trying to make payments, they want to work out payment plans, and it's just, yeah, we don't have fun stuff in our office really, but we make the best of it, don't we? Jackie works for me, and, you know, like Cindy said about her staff, you know, that's what makes our offices tick, our staff that we have. Because, you know, yes, we're there and supervising and pitching in and helping, but without all of our staff there, we couldn't get done for the county what needs to be done. So, let's see. I've got a little cheat sheet because I knew I would forget everything. So I handle the 378 District Court, the 40th District Court, and our newly created 443rd District Court. I know you've already heard the district judges, or the 40th and 443rd, speak to you, so you know what all they do. And we just handle, you know, all of the paperwork that, I mean, in order for them to have the cases, it starts in our office, from the indictments. The indictments get filed in our office, and we start the files, and all the paperwork happens. You know, the attorneys, when they send us information, everything goes in that file mark. We file mark it, and so that's just the case that we keep forever. And even when a case is final, like especially little criminal or civil cases, even when they're final and finished, they're not finished. Because if people are, most of them are on probation, you know, the probation will get revoked because they'll mess up on their conditions, and so that reopens that case. And in civil cases, well, as far as family cases go, divorces might be final, but there's things that reopen a case because of children, because they want to modify child support payments or anything. I mean, just there's modifications all the time that reopen the cases. So it's sort of misleading if you see a count of cases filed, because that's not all that happens with cases filed. There's actions that reopen those cases that just creates more volumes of work and paper and time. And so, what else? We also handle a registry of the court, which for auto accidents for minors under 18, if they get money, the judge orders those funds to be sent to me, and I invest them in an interest-bearing account throughout the county. So when I get one of those, I'll call the banks to see who has the best rate. And, you know, no rates are good right now, but so that's what I do. And then when they turn 18, they can come and, by order of the court, you know, they can withdraw their funds with interest. And then also, I mean, there might be divorces where the couples are squabbling over houses, and so the judge orders one party to pay, you know, one of the rents 1 month, and the other party, and it goes into our office, and we disperse those funds. So, and let's see, I guess a fun part of my job would be that we are a passport acceptance agent. So we do get to send people away on vacations, like I believe Jack Walker got his passport recently. Or is it coming in the mail? Is it not there yet? Okay.
Your paper does a great job too.
Good. Well, that's usually when people are happy, because, you know, then we're sad because they're going somewhere and we're not. What else? What else? Jury manager, we handle the juries for the county. We push a button in our computer. If the judge says I need 250 jurors summoned to pick a jury, we push the button and it picks randomly throughout the county the next 250 jurors, and we send the summons out, and then we're there for the jury selection day and just checking in everyone, disqualifying or exemptions. We just take care of all that paperwork, and afterwards we send them their $6 check for one day, or if they get picked for a jury, it's $40 a day, so we're responsible for that too. And we also send, like, if Cindy has for county court at law for her juries, we give her the number for her to do it, and she does her own summons. Then we do the JP courts also. We select those jurors for those. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet. What else? Then just, you asked about, or Cindy was talking about administrative stuff and what takes up so much of our time. Well, also, I mean, there's just so much reporting that is required, because monthly we have to do, it's for the Office of Court Administration in Austin, we have to report. In our system, thankfully, we'll do it, but you just gotta make sure the numbers are right before you send it. But just, it's throughout all the district courts, cases filed, just any activity that's happened, cases that have closed out, and there's all sorts of information. How many pro se plaintiffs did you have? How many did retain attorneys, you know, and indigent people? I mean, there's, well, you know, it's just government. There's a lot of red tape and forms and stuff, so. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about how long has your family been in Ellis County?
Well, I'm a 5th generation Ellis County, so, I mean, my great-great-grandmother.
Was it your grandfather or was it his?
My grandfather served as district clerk in Ellis County back in the late 60s and early 70s also. So I grew up in that courthouse, on that second floor where his office was.
What was
You know,
his
they had
name?
Bill Price.
Bill Price.
Bill Price, yeah. So, but I grew up going up there. So he'd pick me up after school and I would go and, you know, so it was interesting. It's something I've sort of grown up with, so. I appreciate all of you for the faith that you have had in me, so I appreciate every one of y'all. Thank y'all.
I want to thank your random selection algorithm. I have lived in Ellis County since '81, and I have only ever been called to be a member of a grand jury in all of that time, and my wife gets called once every year.
That's
great. Being called to
You
leave.
get a car. Okay,
Manually, randomly selected.
We're gonna move on. Jack, you wanna come talk about the headquarters?
I want everybody to know that the headquarters committee is still looking at downsizing. As everybody knows, we're in an off election year, and we're spending quite a bit of money at this facility each month. And it's kind of been talked about that we're going to downsize. So it's very possible that next month we will be probably moving to another facility, just keeping an office presence, keeping the legacy circle, saying, doing just what we said we would do, is keep a presence in this county, a Republican office. But guys, we need to save our money, okay? We need to save more money. The other thing that we are currently working on is this legacy circle. We're pushing it hard, okay? I think because of the first 2 months, everybody pays their real estate taxes in January. And pretty soon it's gonna be income tax time. So right now, things are kind of rough for the average job, and it's gonna give some money to the legacy circle. But I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic. In fact, I was shocked when I first got here. Our lady chair right here had a check for our first platinum member, one of our commissioners. That was totally unexpected. That was awesome. So I'm encouraged the way we're off to a pretty good start with our legacy circle. I'm going to let Dorinda tell you how many letters we've sent out and who have we sent them out to, and just to kind of bring you up to speed. So Dorinda.
So far, we've sent out letters to all of our Ellis County elected officials. We've also today sent out some letters to our state and national elected officials to ask them to become members. We've sent out about 30 to 40 letters to other prospective people that we think might be interested in becoming a member. And as well as the people who were already in our own 100 Club. The ones who had anniversary dates in January, February, March, and April. The April letters went out today. Those have all been sent out. If you haven't gotten one yet, it's because your anniversary date has not come up yet. We're trying to wait the year to ask you to re-up. So we've got a list of other people that we want to start sending these out to. We're here one day a week. We missed last week. And have a wonderful group of volunteers who come and help us. The biggest task has been finding addresses for people, so that has taken more time than anything. Maybe. Maybe you wanna go see
May
it.
or may not be right.
Yeah, I know what's in our restaurant.
But if you have free time on Tuesdays and you wanna drop by, come on by and we'll put you to work. And if you have people that maybe we haven't reached out to that you wanna suggest we send letters to, hey, we'd love to have it.
Thank you.
Is free time the same, just like free lunch? There is no such thing as a free lunch.
Well, true. Extra time, let's do it.
Yeah, we have some super volunteers right now. Come in on Tuesdays and helping us out. That's it, all I need to report right now on headquarters.
Now we have bylaws, which is Ashley.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have enough copies. You got free from
Yeah, thank you for that. I'll start on the backside over here.
I have a comment.
You do? Okay. Robert and Mike, and then we can. Might have to make another one.
Those extras over there?
Those are not,
That's okay, I think Anthony's the only one. Christina, do you need one?
Anybody else?
I'll make you one. And Anthony, you need one, right?
He would like one if
you got an extra one.
Oh, well, no, here's that one. Okay, well, we're gonna need 3 more. Total of 3.
Do you need one?
Yeah, now that I think about it. Make it 4.
I'll make 5.
Okay, that one.
I'm actually
Go ahead, I'll get this.
Okay.
And let her get her started.
Go ahead, Ashley. There's just a couple, so we're just gonna. Right. The committee, Ashley's like, but anyway, the committee had a meeting and we're going over the bylaws to try to cinch them up and finish them up. What you have is the existing bylaws, and if you see, like, if there's anything that they're wanting to omit, it's just crossed out with a black line. And then anything they wanted to change is in red. These are just perspective changes. If we really won't vote on this until the next meeting, but we wanted everybody to have it, to look over it. If there's anything you want to change, bring before the committee. Everybody has plenty of time to go over and look. Does anybody have any questions?
Section 2, line 3, after you change it for Republican Party. Is that exactly what you want to say that?
Okay, where are you
It
at?
sounds like it reads a little awkward.
Okay.
Section 2, line 3. We changed it to being allowed, but now,
Just take the out. Yeah, that's.
Or you could look at it like the Ohio State. Y'all like to do that.
But anyway, we just, the committee just wanted everybody to have it, look it over, see if there's anything that y'all want to add, subtract, accept, whatever. But this just gives everybody plenty of time to look it over, and we will actually vote on it next meeting. Yes, sir.
I wanted to thank the meeting, I wanted to thank the secretary and so forth in our committee for putting this together in a way where I can see what's being omitted, what's being added, what's being changed. Like putting forward when we come to it the other way. And this works very well, so thank you.
Have you set a date for another bylaw committee meeting?
No date is set right now.
Would you go ahead and do it this month?
Anybody have any questions or concerns about this? Okay, so we'll move on, so this will really be on the agenda for us to really dissect and all of that next month. Finance committee.
Cindy has one. I appreciate what you said. It's like the three professionals sitting around discussing who's professional slogans, the doctor, engineering, and law. The doctor said in the book of Genesis, it says that Adam, God took the rib from Adam and made him that serpent's mind still. The engineer said, well, if you read Genesis, it says that God created the heavens and the earth out of chaos. That's the engineering feat. The lawyer said, who do you think caused the chaos? Okay. The fundraising committee, finance committee, most of our emphasis seems to be on fundraising. We have 3 dates that have been pinned down as possibilities depending on a speaker's availability. That's going to be August the 1st, August the 22nd, or August the 29th. If it's on the 1st, we can do it at Segu, as last year. The other 2 days would need to be at the Waxahachie Civic Center, but we have all those on hold pending who we get as a speaker. We're going to invite Raphael Cruz to come and give the invocation. And so far we have requests out to Ted Cruz, Abbott, Dan Patrick, and Ken Paxton. And through those, we ought to be able to throw them all up against the wall. Someone is obviously going to stick, we hope, and will be the speaker. It's, pardon? So, Mark Davis has agreed to be our MC again. We think that because it's this far in advance, the legislative session will be over, we ought to be able to get one or more of these, and we'll take more if we have the ability. And the committee did voice unanimous approval that we are strongly encouraging Jack and his headquarters committee to find an alternate location to this facility. We've got 6 months down the road that we were looking at until we really need another official Republican Party headquarters as such. 6 months, and if we can save a majority of $750 a month, that's very substantial. Until we really need a facility going into the filing period and the election season. So that's hopefully will be coming about shortly. And that completes the Finance Committee report, but there's something else I want to talk to you about, and I told Denise that I really wanted to do this because this is very important. Next week, we believe that a hearing is coming up in the Texas House Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence Committee on the American Law for American Courts bill. Now, there have been a lot of states that have passed this already, and it prevents any foreign law from being used in an American court in any case, in civil cases. Texas does not have that as yet. It was defeated 2 years ago. CARE, which is one of the Muslim organizations that's an unindicted co-conspirator in the '93 World Trade Center bombing, has been lobbying the Texas legislature heavily not to pass this. We feel it's critical that this get passed. I'm going to be testifying on the legal issues of this legislation on behalf of Center for Preservation of American Ideals, Dallas Eagle Forum, and the Dallas Republican Assembly. They've asked me to come and represent them on this issue before that committee. When I know definitely what day and time that's going to happen, I'm going to forward to Denise that time and date and ask that she get that out to y'all because you need to call the members of that committee and urge them to pass this out of committee. And that committee, I'll just tell you right now who makes up that committee. John Smithy is the chairman. I can't tell you from what jurisdictions they're from at the moment. You can Google them up and find out. John Smithy is the chairman. Jessica Farrar is the vice chairman. Travis Clardy is a member. Anna Hernandez is a member. Jody Lovenberg is a member. Mike Schofield, Kenneth Sheets, Raymond Pena, and Synfronia Thompson. And right now, we pretty well know that Synfronia Thompson, Raymond Pena, are going to be opposed to this bill, possibly Jessica Farrar. The others we think are going to be in favor of it. This is House Bill 526 that's authored by Jeff Leach, who is, I'm sorry, you're right, 562, by Jeff Leach, who is the representative out of the Plano area. It has 4 co-sponsors to it, so it has some momentum. Now, if we get it out of the committee that's hearing it for the House, it's going to be referred to the House Calendars Committee. And I'll be giving you some information on that a little bit later, and Denise can send that out. And the reason that's important is if you can't get it out of the House Calendars Committee, they schedule it for floor debate and action, it will be just pigeonholed there and not move. And the chairman of the House Calendars Committee is a big lieutenant of Joe Strauss, who has not been favorable about this. So we really need to make sure. The bill does not distinguish a particular type of law that we're talking about, but everyone understands it's directed towards Sharia law. And the reason that's important right now is because we have, for the first time, a Sharia council that has been established in Irving, Texas, to hear, according to them, voluntary cases using Sharia law. This bill doesn't necessarily address that voluntary issue, but it's important that we get this as the foundation in Texas, because once you get a Sharia council going, it's going to snowball. And all you have to do is look at Great Britain, because that's the way they got a foot in the door in Great Britain. And right now, half the courts in Great Britain are Sharia law courts, their own communities, and no one except Muslims can go in those communities except if you want to get beheaded. It's a terrible situation. They're really moving into Texas heavily. And so this is extremely important that you contact these folks and urge the passage of that bill. And I wanted to really emphasize that to you. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you is that I'm sure most of you, or some of you may have heard Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today in front of Congress. I wish we had a president like that. I will tell you right now that I would really encourage you to contact our 2 U.S. senators. I know how they stand on this, but the more phone calls they get demanding that the Congress take action on this to stop the lunacy coming out of the White House, what they're trying to do to the Middle East, that'd be very encouraging, and I would really urge you to do that. And hopefully to stall things off until we get this disgrace that's sitting in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, in my opinion, out, hopefully once and for all. Thank you so much.
Stephen, you want to come up and give a marketing report? Sure. So just a quick update, more of a progress report, if you will, on the website, which, you know, moving a little slow, but that's how things go, because we have Nate Larson, who is, thank you, I can sit down and show you guys, it's a little easier. So Nate Larson, he is a young man who's volunteered to help us kind of reform and redo the website. So we're just kind of working out each other's schedules, but I think we've made some progress, and I'm really excited to show you guys, and I've shared some with the committee. We've even got some logos to share with you guys. Okay, so this is going to be really hard to see, but basically we just wanted to clean up, streamline, and kind of modernize, freshen, if you will, the website. So honestly, I took a cue from Dallas GOP. Their website's pretty darn organized and streamlined. So this is really hard to see on my computer, but this is just one logo. Okay, it's Ellis County, and there would be some buttons up here. Our party, events, get involved, stay informed, donate.
and like Legacy Circle, and we can change, you know, we can change this around a little bit, we'll make sure it's the best and most, the focus it can be. Legacy Circle obviously would fall under donate, we might not call it Legacy Circle, it's just, to the public, they're not gonna know what that is, so I put it under that personally, but anyway, we've also got links to Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, we could change that up too, but, so, I don't know how really best to show y'all this other than, I can just kind of walk down and show you, but I thought that logo was pretty cool. I love how the red C is encircling the E of Ellis County. Subliminal. Subliminal there. But there's a couple more in the committee. We can decide and make a recommendation to everyone, but thought that was super cool. Yeah, so, and this has all been done voluntarily, which is pretty awesome, so. Anyway. Anyone's interested in seeing the logo? Did y'all see it?
That's really nice. Yeah.
A little dark. It's a little dark. Can y'all see the? And we can certainly. We've got a couple other logos, but this was kind of fave. Oops, oh, that's a different one. Here's the one at the top. Yeah, it kind of switches through. There's sliders. And on those sliders, we can talk about the fundraiser. We can talk about the next meeting, the speakers. We can just do a lot of better promotion. If anybody. And that's it, honestly. And if anybody has anything for the elephants here for March, send it my way. Everything's welcome.
Yeah, no, and Christina was like, can we get a picture of you? I said, can't you just like insert Kate Beckinsale in one spot or something? So not photogenic. Republican women, Sandra, do you have anything?
We had a great turnout for our Lincoln Day dinner, and I want to thank all of y'all for coming out and helping us and supporting us in that. Our next meeting is March the 17th. Kathy Adams is going to be our speaker, and she's the president of the Texas Eagle Forum. So I'd like to invite all of y'all to come out and hear her. Thank you.
Okay, and I just want to recognize County Commissioner Perry. He tried to sneak in, but I saw him.
When you see him?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, then you can recognize.
There you go. Does any of the precinct chairs have any new business that they want to bring forward? One once, one twice. Okay.
Well, what?
Penny back here.
Oh, Penny, go ahead.
Well, everybody in their seat has got a list of our training that's coming up. It'll be the next 4 Saturdays. If we had tried to put this in one event, it would have been from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, so we divided it up and try to make as many as you can. This is a boots on the ground training. It's not so much about what is a precinct. That does get covered for those who don't know because they're brand new. But as you see, we're going to have Bruce Turbot come here, who is our Ellis County Elections Department, who will tell you how to get all your information for your precinct, all of your voting history, all of your current people who are Republicans, how your voting history has been in your precinct, and all of this, and it's all on the flash drive, and he's going to show you how to do all that in the maps. And so then again, Tom is going to also coordinate how you get information out of the state Republican Party to help you know who's in your precinct and how to contact them. There will be a lot. Janet Jackson's coming the last meeting, and she is our representative at the state, the woman. We have a man and a woman. She's going to be speaking on SB 22 and CD 10 because those are just names and numbers to most of us, so she's going to explain that to us. And Denise is going to wind up by helping us understand what committees are available so we can be an active and busy precinct chairs and reaching out to the public. And our purpose here is to show how to be boots on the ground, activists educating and influencing the communities in Ellis County so that we can find and support conservative candidates and support the conservative platform. We will be talking about, and there will be a lot of interaction. There will be a lot of brainstorming. So it's not all just someone talking to you. There will be interaction about things to do within your precinct. Try to come.
Penny, can you get that schedule onto the website?
You know what? I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm sort of new website, not old, so those things sort of cross. I can put it on Facebook.
I'm not sure everybody in here saw the schedule that Penny was talking about, but it starts this Saturday.
It's Saturday.
And all the new precinct chairmen are encouraged to come, and anybody from the public. And it's gonna be, is it 9 to 12?
It's 10 to 12,
10
it's
to
only
12.
2 hours. And so we'll have a lot of people talking about how they have been effective in getting people removed from office that they didn't want in office, and how they have interacted with issues in their precinct. In one area, they just attacked the red lights, the cameras at the red lights, and getting those things removed, how to interact with your elected officials and so forth. So this will be instructional from people who've done it. So that'll be very good.
And also, I know that precinct training is it starts this Saturday, but also in Austin on Saturday at 1 o'clock, Steve Monastery, our state chair, is retiring, and they are doing the vote for the new, and I will not be here that day, I was going to Austin, but, if any of y'all want to go to Austin, it's open to the public, and you're more than welcome. It's at the headquarters there in Austin. Marty wanted to come and talk about the high-speed rail and the updates.